Training for your first Ironman 70.3. These five mistakes could be holding you back before you even reach the start line. Hi, I'm Coach Ray from Quick Kiwi Coaching. I've spent more than 25 years helping beginner and recreational athletes achieve their endurance goals. And the same mistakes keep coming up time and time again. In this video, I'll share the biggest mistakes I see first-time Ironman 70.3 athletes make, and more importantly, how you can avoid them. By making a few smart decisions now, you'll train more consistently, reduce your risk of injury, and arrive at the start line feeling confident and prepared. Mistake number one is starting too hard. Now, I don't mean at the start of the race. I mean at the start of your overall training plan. You're trying to train like an experienced athlete right from day one. You need to train at your current level of ability, your current fitness level, your capability, your experience level. Don't try and train at elite level or experienced athletes. Try and replicate what they're doing. It's not going to work for you. You need to increase your training volume and intensity progressively and appropriately for you and your goals. By basically ignoring where you're at and trying to get stuck in and do a whole lot more than what you're capable of, you compromise your recovery as well. Make sure it's progressive, make sure it's gradual, make sure you build appropriately initially to avoid burnout or worse, getting injured. Mistake number two is skipping those fundamentals. Primarily, a Ironman 70.3 is an endurance event where you're working on your aerobic fitness. You don't need sprint speed. You don't need all that high-end anaerobic training. You can use some threshold training, some tempo work to help build your fitness, but you don't need massive amounts of sprint training. It's also really important, those easy sessions, they are what is going to allow you to recover from your harder sessions, but also it's building the efficiency of your aerobic system. That low intensity, easy sessions are key to success. In fact, consistency is key to success, but more about that later. Make sure you get a good swim technique before you try and build your swim speed. Speak to a coach, get in the pool with a swim instructor or a swim coach, build that technique right from the outside. Your endurance needs to be built consistently and gradually and progressively over a long period of time. Don't just try and jump in with hero sessions right from the outset. Master all the basics before you start adding complex intervals, challenging technique work. Just get the basics squared away, and then you're going to be good for setting up that long-term success. The strong foundations that you set up at the start, they're going to build to that long-term progress later on. Failing to plan is planning to fail. And without having a training plan, you're just going to do a bit here, a bit there, sporadic workouts that aren't going to produce results. Consistency is the key. Each training session you do should have some sort of clear purpose. Building the aerobic system primarily is going to be the number one goal for any training plan. Once you've got a plan, follow that plan and trust the process. Make sure it's structured and building progressively towards your goal. One of the biggest things I see, and these numbers aren't in any particular order, but ignoring recovery. You do not improve if you do not recover. Whilst you're recovering, that's when your body adapts and becomes stronger, fitter, faster, more powerful. Without the recovery, you do not get better. The number one thing that makes that recovery happen is your sleep. There's plenty of things we can do to assist and ensure that that recovery is optimized, but without enough quality sleep, you will not recover and you will not adapt, or your body won't adapt to the training stimulus you've given it. Making sure you fuel and hydrate properly will assist that recovery, and it also sets you up for success for your future workouts. As part of your plan, there should be some days that are easier than others to allow an unloading and allow that recovery to occur. Now, not all stress in your life comes from training. Some will have work stress, some will have family stress, some will have financial stress. It all adds together with your training stress. So make sure there's a balance between that stress, training, and your recovery to avoid getting to the point of spiraling downhill with burnout. How you train is going to be how you race. So make sure you include race day skills as part of that training. Practice your race day nutrition. Practice using the same products. Practice using the same timings. Incorporate it into your long sessions. Incorporate it into your harder, any interval type training sessions you do. Learn those skill sets right from the outset. The second bullet point there, learn to pace yourself from the very beginning. If you rely on a treadmill or erg mode on a cycle trainer to set that intensity, you're not going to learn how to modulate it yourself. So utilize that in your training. If you live somewhere that requires you to use a treadmill for long periods of time, make sure that when you get off the treadmill, you're practicing that race pace. On the bike trainer, try and avoid using erg mode for the vast majority of your workouts. Make sure you practice your transitions. Brick sessions are key, not only to develop the ability for your body to transition the blood supply from your cycling muscles to your running muscles, but also so you can get the mindset, so you can get the sequences down pat, so you know what you're doing when you get into that transition. Practice it in order, practice it as you would on race day. And make sure you become familiar with all the equipment you're going to use. If, like in that picture, I'm riding a specialized Shiv. Now that is my main race bike. I also have a training bike and my indoor trainer as well. I primarily use my indoor trainer. I primarily, when I'm outdoors, use my road bike. But it's important that I trained on my Shiv, on my race bike, for in the lead up to events. Without that familiarity, without that positioning, it will be unfamiliar for me on race day. So make sure you get that all dialed in before you get to the race. So the formula for success is basically make sure you're training consistently, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, building towards your event. Don't try and jump in right at that hero level right from the outset. Start with where you're at and build each week. Get a little bit more, increasing it by about 10 to 15% volume-wise each week as you build towards your successful finish, your achievement of your goal. Trust your training plan as you work through, whether it's through me or through another coach. Trust the plan, support it. It's been put together for a reason. Hopefully it's been put together specifically for you. Trust that process. Make sure you recover as well. Like I touched on, that recovery, if that doesn't happen, your body doesn't adapt. You don't develop the fitness that's required. So take your recovery as seriously as you take your training. Building to an Ironman 70.3 is a slow process. Make sure you've got the patience. Stick with it. Follow the process. Small improvements over time, improving a little bit this week, improving a little bit more the following week, a little bit more the week after that. They all compound towards creating some big results in the future. Finish well. Just like Jess, who's in that photo at her first ever Ironman 70.3 distance event. That one was Challenge Wanaka, where she had an exceptional race. Now, before you go, if you're serious about completing your first or even achieving your fastest Ironman 70.3, I'd love to help you get there. The Foundation First training plan is designed specifically for first-time and recreational athletes who want a structured, progressive program that fits around work, family, and everyday life. You don't need to be an elite athlete. You simply need to be able to swim 1,000 meters with breaks if needed, ride for 60 minutes, and run continuously for 30 minutes. Instead of wondering if you're training correctly, or making the mistakes we've talked about today, you'll have a clear plan that tells you what to do, when you're doing it, and how each session fits into your journey towards race day. If you're ready to train with confidence, avoid the common pitfalls, and build the fitness you need to cross the finish line, click the link below to learn more about the Foundation First training plan. I'd love to help you become another Ironman 70.3 success story.